Clock, so I think we want to get started. My name is Pam Schroeder. I'm the director of the Williams County Historical Society, and I want to welcome you here this morning for this auspicious occasion. Please come in. Everybody will be the late comer. Okay, so at this time, if you would be so kind to turn your cell phones off so they don't interfere with the presentation. Don Adams is a past president of the Williams County Historical Society, and I'm going to let him introduce our guest speaker.
It amazes me that the Montpelier Exempted Village Schools have produced two young men that have become members of NASA. One is an astronaut and the other is an engineer. And we have the engineer today with us and his family. And I want to introduce Diane, over here, his wife, and Tyler, and Christian there. And they've come from Huntsville, Alabama, and he began his education in the elementary schools in Montpelier and has gone on to Alabama and joined NASA and worked with the space program on the shuttle. And at this time, we'll have Chris give us a talk.
Go ahead and run the video.
Pardon?
We'll go ahead, Chris will run the video first.
This Sunday will be the one-year anniversary of the launch of the final space shuttle mission. Now, we haven't forgotten the shuttle, and if Madison County Scott Phillips heads his way, we never will.
His passion, the shuttle's legacy. WHUT News 19 Steve Johnson with the story.
You don't really think about spaceflight as you watch Scott Phillips sell a piece of cheerleader. In Scott's workshop, you start getting hints. He takes the cherry and other choice pieces of wood, and he turns them into models of the space shuttle. He made his first one in 1985.
Well, you know, I had a situation where people were retiring from the shuttle program, and I was a little working, everyone knew it, and so I was challenged to make crude representation of the shuttle.
Of course, there's nothing crude about the models Scott has lovingly created since that first effort.
It's a serious thing for me, and I've done over 250 to date, and I have every one of them tracked.
From Scott's workshop, the shuttle models have gone to astronauts, to retiring NASA workers, even to NASA administrators. Scott has kept a few, like this one signed by the pilots of the very first shuttle mission, STS-1. This photo shows Scott's special connection to that first flight. Working for a NASA contractor, he was the last man out of the external tank. Yeah, Scott was at Kennedy Space Center for that first shuttle launch, and he worked with the external tank for every launch since.
Liftoff, the final liftoff of Atlantis.
And that includes the last one, nearly a year ago, STS-135.
My father-in-law, he's a World War II guy, 87 years old, little B-25 Mitchell. He talks about it like it was his whole life, and he was on it for 16 months. And here I've been in the space program for 33 years, so it's something I'll carry with the rest of my life.
Scott made this tribute to the shuttle program. It includes all the mission pins and, of course, the shuttle model. It's signed by the last crew. The display also includes the red flight ribbon Scott pulled from that very first external tank.
Having fired the imagination of a generation, a ship like no other, its place in history secured, the space shuttle pulls into port for the last time.
Scott retired after that final mission, but there's no separating Scott Phillips from the shuttle program. Certainly the dozens of hours he puts in every exquisite model shows his love for the shuttle's legacy.
I'm excited when I see somebody light up and get one of those models.
The best thing, Scott Phillips plans to keep making them. Steve Johnson, WHUT News 19.
Scott Phillips busy these days writing a book about his experiences with the shuttle program.
Also, there's a display of his work at the Huntsville Convention and Visitors Bureau on Church Street. It will be there through the end of August.
I'm John Spirit with SpaceAlabama.com. The space shuttle program may be over, but a former shuttle employee is keeping the legacy alive with two different tools, words and wood. Scott Phillips earned his nickname not from working on the actual space shuttle, but from his exquisite models.
Shuttleman was a nickname, just because I did the shuttle model, and it just came natural to me. And so it became sort of an identity for me.
He began making the models to commemorate each shuttle mission. He's now made over 450 models, many with over 20 types of wood. The models not only represent shuttle history, but are also a part of it.
John Glenn, Eileen Collins, Lee Jemison, and some of those folks came back and I got them to sign. So it's really sort of an art that I can pass on to the next generation, because these will be around for quite a few years.
But Phillips wanted to leave behind something more than the models. His new book, Removed Before Flight, is his way of ensuring the spirit of the space shuttle program endures.
I want my boys in particular, and the next generation, to get that sense of purpose and accomplishment, and then really it helps mankind in the long run.
Wood will eventually decay, but words can live much longer.
I'm really keeping the inspiration, the flame of inspiration burning for human space flight through the legacy of the space shuttle program.
Phillips hopes that his models and book help inspire the next generation like he was inspired by former generations himself. For all your space news, visit SpaceAlabama.com.
Hello, Williams County. Well, there's my cousin Peggy Budoff. Great. Hey, I tell you what, I want to thank Dr. Adams. Everybody give Dr. Adams a hand because he's the one that got me here. Good job. I want everybody to look at Ken Beck back there because he's the one that created me into creating the history of the space shuttle program. Because of you, Mr. Beck, if you recall the time when we were in school, the archaeology that we did, that you had us go in the back of Superior, bury things, bring it back up and kind of figure out what we needed to do. And so I carried that with me into the shuttle program. So here I had an opportunity. People that don't know me, by the way, my mother, Mary Lou Phillips, says to say hello to everybody. She was in Huntsville. She wishes she could be here, but she wasn't able to make the trip. But of course, we moved here in 1966. I won't bore you with all the details. We got here in '66 and went through first grade all the way to the 8th grade. And Lane Chow and I played ball together. And he was the center and I was the forward. He could play, I couldn't. But he played the trombone. And I got you out of the trombone to play ball, didn't I? Yeah, there you go. And then Peggy Budoff, of course, she's a cousin of mine. She's the smartest one in our class. But I take a little bit of thing off of that on the Budoff side, on the male side. But I appreciate coming today. And Pam Schroeder, wherever Pam's at, thank you very much. I hope Tom doesn't get mad for us moving him over a little bit. I don't think I hogged too much for this day. We kind of maybe got that. But I'm glad to be here today. I just, like I say, I don't have to tell you, saw the video. And so the opportunity that I had to work on the world's greatest, and today the space shuttle is held as the most complex vehicle devised by man, and still holds that title today. I don't have to tell anybody in here ever see a shuttle launch live? Okay, great. So I don't have to tell y'all the power behind that. We're seeing it on TV. Y'all saw it on TV. So I had an opportunity at the age of 19 to get on the early space shuttle program in 1978, so which would have been the year I graduated high school, but then that following October, right after I graduated, went right on into the shuttle program. That was a wonderful opportunity. So, but I attribute, and normally I give a talk that's more technical in nature because people want to ask me all different things about Challenger and all that, and I'll take questions and answers at the end. But this is an emotional thing for me today because this is where it started, right here. The values that Williams County put in me, and by the way, if y'all remember, this week is the 46th anniversary of the initial Apollo 11. So we've just started the mission 46 years ago to land man on the moon. Of course, we know Neil Armstrong was from Wapakoneta. So, of course, on the 21st, we landed man on the moon, and everybody can remember, except maybe some of the young ones here, but everybody that I see can probably remember, except Reese over there, he doesn't remember. But some of the little ones there won't. But where they were at when we landed on the moon. And I lived in 405 West Water Street, right next to the Adams family. And Elaine remembers me you remember me getting on an ironing board?
Oh, yeah.
And I was on surfboard, an ironing board, you remember that, okay. So anyhow, but I was inspired by Neil Armstrong landing on the moon. I said to myself, I want to attach myself to something larger than myself, but how do I do that? So I knew this when I was 10. I knew I needed to be prepared. I knew I needed to do my schoolwork. I needed to have a good work ethic, and I needed to be an honest person and do the right things by people, okay? I learned those values in Williams County. Now, I don't know, I'm going to throw some names out for teachers. I had Mrs. Briner, my first grade. I had Mrs. Porter. I'm honored to be in the Porter Gallery. Mrs. Porter was my second grade teacher. Mrs. Babe Holwall was my third grade teacher. Onward Christian Soldier is what he was. Remember that? There's some times I needed that. But then fourth grade was Mrs. Conley. Fifth grade was Miss Clark. Sixth grade was Mr. Wallace. Seventh grade was Mr. Beck. Eighth grade was Mr. Bell. The funny thing about human nature is this. My father moved us away my 8th grade year, and I had a lot of experience in high school, other places in the South, things like that for school. But whenever I have a dream, whenever I dream about people, it's funny about human nature, but when I dream about people, I dream about people like Lane Shaw, Katie Budoff, Shelley Beck, Sheila Beck, in a nice way. Diana. By the way, this lady is sitting over here in the black, right here. She's my wife, Diane, right here. But this lady in black. This lady that came in a little bit later in black, she actually is our editor to the book. And without Casey Cook, we would not have a book that reads as well as it does. Okay? I had the stories, but she made sense out of it. So Casey Cook, you get an opportunity to shake her hand because she made remove before flight, okay? But, so anyhow, getting back, the Williams County situation for me was, I was inspired by a previous generation landing man on the moon, 46 years ago. The second thing is I knew to be prepared. I did my schoolwork, I had a good work ethic, and I did the right thing by people, the honesty. The next thing that I learned was opportunity. I just came out of high school, dumber than a can of rocks, basically had no experience. I knew I wanted to do engineering work and work, with my hands and things of that nature. It was just a serendipitous opportunity that my father moved us to Huntsville, Alabama, the home of the Marshall Space Flight Center, which is the home of Werner von Braun, that built the Saturn V rocket that took us to the moon. I had an opportunity to hire in as a 19-year-old. It was the most fantastic. I wish I could have taken every one of my schoolmates and carried, just held their hand and just gone in together. It was such a fantastic opportunity. I had a chance to work in the vehicle assembly building at the Kennedy Space Center for the STS-1 launch. We worked, of course, as you'll see the history in the book, that you'll see that I did work the testing program. I had a lot of mentors. A lot of people that landed us on the moon were of older age, okay? These were World War II guys that came in that had a dream of landing us on the moon, and they worked to make that happen. Some of them were getting older, so guys like me were the second generation coming in. So they took me under my wing as a high school student initially in the testing program and whipped me into shape. They taught me at least how to write a sentence that was decent. So I took the opportunity to do that, to seize the opportunity that Williams County taught me. If there's an opportunity, seize that opportunity, and I did that. So as we rocked along into the program, we had a disaster. I was 27 years old in the Challenger disaster, and I think, well, by the way, everybody remembers where they were at during the Challenger. I know everybody except the little ones. Challenger's history to the little ones, but the Challenger was so real, it's really like yesterday to most of us. It was very historical for me to have that opportunity to be involved in the reflight, to get the shuttle flying again. Post-Challenger, I was elevated into the program. I came from the testing program, of course, worked on the STS-1, the final man out of STS-1, hence removed before flight. I pulled the ribbon off STS-1. Believe it or not, an Ohio guy did that. And the Williams County guy did that. I pulled the ribbon off STS-1 before Bob Herman and John Young. I'm kissing myself. I'm like, I can't wait to tell Lane that I did it. I can't wait to tell Peggy, Shelley, Sheila that I did, Mr. Beck. I couldn't wait to tell Don Adams that I pulled the ribbon off STS-1. And I was proud of it. So I kept the ribbon. So if you go to the library today, I actually have the ribbon on the actual tribute you saw on the video. But anyhow, getting back to what we're talking about, in the sense that not only was I inspired by the previous generation, not only was I educated and prepared by Williams County, and not only did I seize the opportunity, I'm now going through the tough times. Challenger hits us. I'm 27 years old. My boss is a World War II guy. He had his belly full. He doesn't want to go the route. We've never killed 7 astronauts before. I just want to say it because that's what happened. We were sloppy. We were sloppy. And we knew it. We knew it. So anyhow, they elevated me. They said, hey, Phillips is from Ohio. He's got the common sense. I headed up the external tank logistics for all the external tank. 33 month shutdown we had for the program, and we were able, it was very historical because we had Neil Armstrong, was part of the Rogers Commission. I got to meet my hero, Neil Armstrong, sitting in the same room with Neil Armstrong. Got to see Sally Ride, the first female to fly in space, the U.S. female. I'm sitting in this room with these guys making some decisions. Now, I'm not really high up with like the center director, but I was down there making these decisions. And there would be times when they'd ask me questions. I was in over my head because it was something we had never gone through before. I'm 27 years old. I got a $10 million inventory over my head. I had $10 million on a 27-year-old kid. I knew how the shuttle, operated internally, but externally, politically, I was starting to learn. But anyhow, we got to the questions about the cruise and survival and everything, and what we needed to tell the press and the people. And I sat there and I said, to myself, I said, what would Bob Storr do in this situation? I took on Bob Storr's mindset because he was such an authority figure to me in school. I said, what would Bob Storr do in this decision? And I thought of other people in Williams County. I thought, I have a family behind me. It gave me the strength to get through it because it was very, very complex. But overall, we came up with the right answers. The We were able to fly 32, 33 months later. We had a return flight. We had a success. So I was elevated into the program because of some of the good decisions I made that actually brought me up from being honest and have the integrity that I brought to the table. They looked at me as that damn Ohio boy. Can figure it out. So, as far as external tank is concerned. So we're rocking along in the program, and we get down to where I had put my life on hold. I was 35 now. The Shelley Becks were no longer in my life, the Kelly Banks, and some of the people that I dated and stuff like that. I didn't date. I was an engineer, pure, simple, and was focused on the shuttle program. I got lonely. I said, there's more to life than just going to work, working on the space shuttle program and doing some cool stuff. I'm lonely. I'd love to meet someone. So, serendipitously, I had an opportunity to meet my lovely wife, Diane. Fell head over heels in love with this woman. And been married 21 years. So the next step in my life was finding and valuing unconditional love. That is it, guys. That's the most important thing in life. If you can find and value unconditional love, that gives us not only companionship, it gives us synergy and wisdom. Because now there's two people working in a central direction. The book itself, Removed Before Flight, was in my head. I couldn't get it out. My wife Diane found my voice. So for just that reason, just like I said, I charge her with the fact of bringing that story to the public. So finding and valuing unconditional love. And then I was raised with 5 kids. And I'll tell you a story. Raising with 5 kids. My mom, Mary Lou, and my father dead. My dad is gone now. He died in 2004. But by the time my dad was 29 years old, he had 5 children. That put a lot of financial stress on our family. And that was kind of our #1 thing. In fact, we were so poor, I'm going to do one of those so poor things, that, you know, putting shoes and clothing on kids before school and all that. Well, they took us the night before school, they'd take us bowling. And then we'd come home, then we'd go to school. And the bad thing about it is we were known as 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 in school. The rental shoes. The bowling shoes got for $1.50. That's just a joke. we weren't that poor, but in a way we kind of were. So, but the reason, Diane told me not to tell that joke. I made that up on the drive coming up. And I had to be careful not to say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That makes 16. So I had to practice 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So anyhow, I had an attitude. I mean, I had an attitude about not having children. And then the boys are here. Tyler and Chris. They know it because they're in the book. I had an attitude. I say, no kids. We're going to fly around. We're going to drive a sports car. We're going on cruises. You know, I'm going to do my stuff. No. Unconditional love kicked in. And had an opportunity, and serendipitous, it's in the book, and I won't spoil the story, but God blessed us. I have 2 sons today, by the way of adoption. Tyler came to us, and then of course Christian came to us, and Tyler. And it's been a blessing. Christian Andrew is almost 16. He's going to be driving. I can hardly believe it. Tyler right behind him, so he'll be doing that. So back here again, the unconditional love element of my life was there, you know, space shuttle. Now I've got unconditional, so that's the most important thing. Now, as you rock along in life, there's a burning desire within inside of us. I sound like a minister when I say that. But there's a burning desire inside of us is our passion. every one of us in here has something we love to do and are passionate about, okay? And I know it's the Miami Dolphins for you. Right? Yeah. And I know for you, Peggy, your business, Peggy, and then of course, Lane, obviously, his beautiful handiwork he does and stuff. And Doc Adams, of course, I know you do stuff. There's other woodwork and stuff. But I had that passion. And I'll tell a story here. Does anybody know what this is? Oh, you know, I'll give you a hint. Well, I lived out on Route, what was that road, 10? Did I live off of 10? Yeah, okay. Lived out on 10, and my mother started getting on me for cutting her broomsticks because she didn't like sweeping like this. Well, I found out that the wood out in the yard didn't whittle as well because it was wet, and you know, everybody knows you don't do that as well. But hardwood, you can do that. Well, I found my passion, wood carving. So I have a bunch of these. Of course, I brought one to give back. But I learned the study of dendrology. Anybody ever heard the word dendrology? I never heard of it. I thought I was a pretty smart guy, but I never heard of it. So I started learning dendrology. Learned there was thousands of species of woods available. So within my vocation, I brought my passion. I don't care what you do in life. You might not have a job you like or whatever, but hey, I recommend just doing your passion on the side. Try to incorporate that into your work. Well, serendipitously, a guy challenged me. He said, Phillips, you're from Ohio, you know wood. I said, well, kind of. He said, can you make a space shuttle model out of wood? And I said, probably could. Sat down, whittled the space shuttle. It was so bad, I gave it away. I didn't even keep it. I didn't. But then I started whittling other things, and then I got more challenged. We had a guy that passed away suddenly. They said, would you carve him a space shuttle model for a memorial service? I said, oh, the first one didn't work out too good. But the second one I had my passion and love in. I started carving it, and believe it or not, they unveiled it at the memorial service many years ago. They all started to cry. All the grandchildren, everybody in there started. I'm like off to the side going like, really? I can't believe this. But that inspired me to say the symbol of the space shuttle, what I was carving, was symbolic of excellence. In other words, people, when I learned about the space shuttle program, we all saw the rocket go up, you know, the boosters kick off, everything like that. So we saw it. Spectacular. But people forget it was a 6 million pound brute of industrial piece of equipment to us. To me, it was people. The program was chock full of fantastic brilliance. I had never been around such, you know, Werner von Braun types, Howard Feynman types. These are the people I had an opportunity to work around and rub up against and actually learn off of. You ingest the fact that my passion to build these space shuttle models became known within the program. So I did a post-flight program where people came back from space. They would look at my artwork and sign it, and then they would give it away as a gift or something like that. Well, I got to be known within the program as Shuttleman. Have anybody ever heard of Shuttleman? Look me up on Google because I'm on there. Shuttleman. Because of the space shuttle model. I learned all that from this. From this. Inspire that young man right there. And that young man right there. Pay attention to your broomsticks. I mean that. So, from the broomstick of Williams County is what I have over here, is the offshoot 46 years later on the street. So I just wanted to bring that up. So, as you rock along in a program like such as what we had is that now we have Columbia. That was even worse because we're not going to come back. That was it. Columbia was very traumatic to the workforce. It devastated 20,000 people, dedicated people that had worked from the beginning of the program to the middle of the program. Of course, some people retired and attrition took on and so forth, but guys like me that came from the beginning, of course the challenger, the middle, and now we're starting to wind her down. It was devastating. So, what's going to happen to Shuttleman after the program ends? That's my identity. I'm Carver Space Shuttleman. You know, I work on the external tank. I had years of, you know, I still had more years in me to think to go on. But that failure became a good learning tool in human nature for me. Even though we came back to fly, I was here again thrust into it. We had what they call the Caleb report, which recommended the shuttle to be replaced by 2010. Now this would have been post about 2003, February 2003, 4. So we knew we were on a dying program. We knew the shuttle program was going to go out eventually because we were building the external tanks. So we knew when to stop, and then when that stopped, then the pipeline stopped. So I had to live with the fact that my beloved shuttle is now going away. This is where I use the Williams County law. Failure is your best teacher. You make lemonade out of lemons. So, what I decided to do, knowing that I had that period of time, and during that time my father passes away. My father passes away, which doubled down. That doubled me down. Not only was my beloved shuttle leaving, but not only was my dad gone now. It really paid a toll on it. It really was something that, but we all get there. But then, one day, something came out of the blue, and it's a little history, and I'll leave it in the book, let you read it in the book. But the fact is, I came to the conclusion that I needed to create a bucket list of things I wanted to accomplish before the shuttle program ended. I had 5 items on my bucket list, and I had several years in order to accomplish this. So it kept my mind occupied as I was actually helping deactivate the space shuttle program, which was the hardest thing. I had to lay people off. I had to close vendors down. It was really hard. But I had the Williams County thought in my mind is, hey, don't let it bring you down. And really, seriously, because of the financial strap that we were as a kid growing up. My dad taught us how to go through tough times. So I just pulled my dad's book out and said, well, that's how we go through bad times. And it was being real. It was being honest with yourself on where you're going in life and actually making the hard decisions. So as I started to come up with my bucket list, the list consisted of one of the items I won't tell, but the last item on my bucket list was to write a book. Remove fourth light. That was, I accomplished all 4 other items. It's in the book. And then the final is talking to my Williams County family. This is a dream come true for me. This is the final thing. That I said, I'm going to be able to tell Wayne that I did this. I'm going to tell Peggy that I did this. I'm going to tell Shelley that I did it, Sheila I did this. Mr. Beck and Don. Be careful. I'm going to tell them that I actually was on the world's greatest program. Tom Hendricks, of course, his son from here. Tom and I, of course, met many times. Tom and I talked about space all the time, and he was a tremendous talent, brilliant mind. He just was of course, he commanded 2 flights, Had an opportunity, of course, he handed out silver Snoopies, which was a national honor award and stuff, so we spent time together. I'm honored the fact that you guys have me here today, so I felt compelled that I wanted to carve a model for Williams County made out of Ohio walnut. And so I got a little sample down there, plus the base is made out of walnut from Ohio. It is the Columbia version, has 18 different woods in it. When Tom comes, I hope that Andy will get him to autograph that, and that'll be complete. You invest